Good afternoon. Welcome to the Monday afternoon meeting, September 8th, of the Palm Springs Human Rights Commission. My name is Bill Feingold. I'm the chairman, and we'll start off the meeting with the flag salute. Ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And Commissioner Zelness, will you please read our mission statement?
Gladly. The mission of the Human Rights Commission of Palm Springs is to promote improved human relations, civic peace, intergroup understanding, and the full acceptance, respect, and participation of all persons in all aspects of community life so that we will be equal in the eyes of each other.
Thank you. Lee, will you do the roll call, please?
Yes. Commissioner Guano?
Present.
Commissioner Bowens?
Present.
Commissioner Brown?
Here.
Commissioner Catarat?
Here.
Commissioner Elliott? Absent. Commissioner Feingold?
Here.
Commissioner Janis?
Here.
Commissioner McCullough?
Present.
And Commissioner Zelness.
Here.
Lee, has the agenda been posted?
Yes, the agenda was posted according to the Brown Act on August 29th.
Thank you very much. Now we have public comments, and since we don't have anybody from the public here this afternoon, there are no comments. I would remind the public our new schedule is the second Monday of the month. We meet at 3 o'clock, and our forum schedule is the same as the fourth Thursday at 6 o'clock. But we now have Monday afternoon, second meetings of the month are in the afternoon. Next on the agenda is approval of the minutes for July 14th and 24th. Has everyone received their minutes and read them? Okay. Do I hear a move?
I move we approve the minutes of both those meeting dates.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Minutes are approved. Okay. Late arriving Pam Elliott. You're first on my list, too. So I'll come back to you. So Commissioner Elliott, welcome.
Thank you.
We're going to have reports first, and you're going to give us a report. You're going to tell us who you are. So
All right. Is this the right place?
this is it. That's your place.
Pamela Elliott.
Wait, push this.
I'm a local criminal defense attorney who also has a nonprofit organization, Teen Action Program, trying to develop a residential treatment center and educational procedures for educating the general public on alcohol and drug abuse among adolescents.
Okay, thank you and welcome.
Thank
And
you.
I will not call you the late Pam Elliott anymore.
I apologize. This won't
That's
happen
okay.
again.
Okay, now we have reports. First up is the chairman report, my report. I just want to say that our next regular meeting, not a forum, is November the 10th. That's the day before Veterans Day, and I've spoken to the people at AMVETS, and we're going to turn over, I hope, most of the meeting to them, and they're going to discuss the issue of don't ask, don't tell, and they're going to tell us their stories and what's happened to them after being removed from the military and, how they're getting by and try to explain to us how that policy is working or not working. And I think we're going to have a lot of veterans come that day. So that's November the 10th at 3 o'clock. It's an afternoon meeting. And that would be my report for now, and I'll turn it over to the vice chair for a report.
My report has to do with the Community Relations Committee. I recently started the Police Academy, which was the first meeting of which was last Thursday. It's a 13-week course, and so far it's been very interesting. I'm really enthusiastic about it. And we did a tour of the police facility. We saw canines in action and had a wonderful talk about ethics. It was, I think, a real highlight, and if the rest of the sessions are as good as this one, I'm really thrilled about it. I also was recently interviewed on KPSI with regard to the work of the Human Rights Commission, and that will be rebroadcast, but at this point, I don't have a specific date. As I get it, I will let you know.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Catarat. And the Police Academy gets better every week.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
wonderful.
you won't believe it. It's great. Mediation, Commissioner Janis, do you have a report for us?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Regarding complaint number 68 that I reported on the last meeting, termination of an aircraft employee due to racial discrimination. The individual had come by the office to indicate that he was having a hard time locating a job because of his situation, and that was about a month ago. During that interim, we, the Human Rights Commission, had sent a letter to the aircraft company that he was working for, identifying what the problem was, and they're very responsive. And they were saying in their letter that they are in receipt of your letter dated July 14th regarding the individual. And they're saying that their company is certainly amenable to the idea of mediation with a neutral third party serving as an intermediary. So I was pleased to receive that. She said, please contact me with additional information at your convenience. I can be reached at so-and-so. She gave me the number. Now here's the problem. I tried to by phone to contact the individual at the phone number that he'd left us. And apparently it was a cell phone that we had been communicating with. And then I learned that the cell phone is no longer connected. But I still had his address according to his discrimination report and sent a letter indicating that we're trying to locate him so we can mediate his case. I've yet to receive anything. Therefore, I did return a call to the aircraft company stating what I had experienced. It indicated as soon as we locate him, we will set up a mediation congregation in order to discuss this case. So hopefully we'll find out soon. That's the end of my report.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Janis. We're going to skip Community Relations report because Richard Carteret already gave his report. My report is next for the Hate Crimes Task Force, and I think it was 2 weeks ago I attended a meeting at the police station with Commander Hall. It was a follow-up from the Stonewall Democrats meeting at Toucans. And Commander Hall is printing up wallet-size pamphlets in Spanish and English that people can carry in their wallets, and it'll tell them what to do if they've had a hate crime against them, what phone numbers to call, and it's going to be very useful, and those should be available within a week or two. So it was a good meeting, and we also discussed the Citizens Academy, that more people should get involved, and I think that we're going to start to see some advertising for citizens to go to the academy. And that's my report. It was a good meeting. Next up is the Educational Forum Committee. Joe Aguano, welcome back.
Thank you, and it's good to be back. A couple of items. I'm looking at the calendar, and our next forum is October 9th. Now, did you mention that our next regular meeting is going to be November 10th?
No, the 13th, but
Okay.
I'm sorry, November 10th, we're going to do the AMVETS, though, at a regular meeting.
All right, then. So October 9th, we will have our next forum, and that's going to be on student rights, and it's going to be a little bit different format than we've done in the past. We will have a panel of district and community agencies do brief presentations, discuss certain topics, and then we're going to throw it open for questions from the Human Rights Commission itself. So we're going to see if we can get more involvement from the commission, less time us talking, or panel members talking, and more times commissioners asking the questions. So that again is October 9th, and it's on student rights. And the second thing is I've just done an exhaustive interview process with students for our students representative, and I came up with 3 excellent candidates. And the reason they were selected because they also belong to our Junior Statesmen of America, where they debate the topical constitutional issues, and I thought that would be a good connection with the Human Rights Commission. I just wanted to ask the Commission's direction. Do you want me to actually select? Because at this point, I'm going to put their names in a hat and draw, unless there are members of the committee who would be interested in coming to the school and doing brief interviews with these 3 students, and then committee members can select it. Whatever your desire is, I will adhere to.
Commissioner Bowen, I'd like to ask you, do you have students in mind as well? Because we had talked about having from the middle schools.
I went to Clarence Nolan, who is the principal at Raymond Cree Middle School, and we came up with the ASB president. and I did turn that name over to Lee already. So if everything's okay, she'll be at our next meeting.
Okay, so how many students do we want? 3? 2, 3 total? Leave it up to the commission.
I thought we were going to have one from the middle school and one from the high school. That was my understanding.
Okay.
We would have 2.
And I think we did discuss that. as a
Yes.
committee, yes.
Okay, well, just my opinion. Joe, you know them the best. I mean,
So I think he should choose.
yeah.
Okay.
We'll put you in the hot seat for a change. We'll give you the hot seat.
And that's my report.
Okay, thank you. I just want to remind people that the forum on students' rights is at 6 p.m. That'll be the same time our forums usually happen on Thursday night at 6 p.m. Next, commissioner comments. Does anybody have a comment? Sort of like, what did you do this summer?
Oh, I wasn't prepared for that question, but I actually kind of brought a list along with me, of very quick things. This won't take very long. One of them in relation to the comments about the next upcoming meetings, et cetera. And Lee, this may be something directed to you. I absconded with a confidential copy of the City of Palm Springs conference room schedule, and we are still noted as not only having the Monday meeting, the second Monday of the month meeting, but also the second and fourth Thursdays. So for the sake of freeing up space that we're not going to use, if you wouldn't mind to kind of honcho that for us and look at the city schedules. Thanks. The Homeless Task Force. I have been out of town the better part of the month of August and missed the last Homeless Task Force meeting. But before leaving towards the end of July, I did go with Jim Hicks, another member of the Homeless Task Force, to a meeting in Indio at Supervisor Wilson's office to talk with some of the representatives, including Father Joe Carroll and some others from his organization, as well as some other people from Riverside County, about the possibility of Martha's Village and Kitchen establishing a facility here in Palm Springs. Site, et cetera, to be determined, but there was interest both by Father Joe and his group, as well as the people from the county, to have a sense of where other groups in the city of Palm Springs, like the Human Rights Commission, the Homeless Task Force, if we would be supportive of their looking for a facility and establishing a facility somewhere in Palm Springs, as I say, at a site to be determined, because they don't want to go through a lot of effort and a lot of planning in order to come up against a good deal of resistance from the community, even before a particular site is identified. So we expressed generally support for proceeding with that. As I mentioned to all of you before we took our break, that Nightingale Manor would be closing down, and in fact, the plan, the last I have heard, is for Martha's Village and Kitchen to take over Nightingale Manor so that there will be continuity there. There's not going to be any closure from what I understand, and the Martha's Village people, oh no, not the same. The Martha's Village group will be putting some money, in fact, some significant dollars into upgrading the facility and making some changes there to make it more livable, basically. But it will continue as an emergency shelter for families. So we won't have a disruption of that service. One of the things that we talked about there at the meeting, and it really didn't have much to do with that meeting itself, but more in terms of our local involvements in Palm Springs, was an interest in getting further clarification, and now that people are kind of back on the scene and getting more into the swing of things, getting clear with City Council and the mayor as to the role, responsibilities, and expectations of the Homeless Task Force, because a fairly significant meeting took place with the mayor and various other people that the Homeless Task Force was not even aware of regarding Father Joe and his group looking at Palm Springs as a facility. And, you know, it's not we want to be included, kind of. But if we are a bona fide group and we are an advisory group, then we need to get clear with the powers that be of what it is they want from us. So that, I know, will be one of the first orders of business as we get back into the swing of things, too, this fall, to get clear on that. So the last information I have is Nightingale continues under the Martha's Kitchen, Village and Kitchen group, and that there is further review and looking to identify a site for a Martha's Village and Kitchen here in Palm Springs. So that's kind of exciting, actually. I wanted to mention, and as we were saying, welcoming people back, and those of us here on the commission who are part of the local school systems, that we probably all noticed last week the Desert Sun had a little sidebar article reminding us all to be conscious, to be aware of children back to school and looking out for them in traffic and whatnot. And I just want to add to that we really also need to be mindful of parents. I live across the street from Cahuilla Elementary School there on Mesquite and Camino Real. And the first day of school, I was driving home in the morning from running an errand at school opening time, and there were two women who I presume mothers were standing in the middle of the street as I approached, and I thought, oh my God, something's happened. They're in the middle of the street, there must have been an accident. Well, the two women were apparently just chatting. One in fact was holding a baby, and as I approached in the car, I needed to move into the oncoming lane of traffic because clearly they weren't going to move out of the street. And it's not unusual to see parents with child in hand darting out from between parked cars to cross the street to school. And I just kind of shake my head and think, here we are, the role models for the little ones, and I think we need to be mindful of that role as role models, and just to remind all of us generally to both look out for the little ones on the streets more these days as well as their parents, because there appears to be some equal risk out there. So there's that. I had a question, and Lee, this may be of you as well, or Rick in the control room. Now that we're doing second Monday of the month meetings, do we know if we will be rebroadcast like next Monday, or will we have an evening rebroadcast of our meetings? We're a little less accessible during the day to a lot of people who work and have regular daytime jobs, and I wondered if we know if we're going to even be rebroadcast and when that might be, just for public information's sake.
I'm not going to guess, but I believe I saw it's rebroadcast next Monday, I think. Well, here comes the answer.
Replays will be as they've been on Thursday evenings.
Oh,
at
good.
6.
So still
Good, so
Thursday
good.
evenings at 6 for the replays. Thanks, Rick. Appreciate that.
Nothing like getting an answer quick like that.
Yeah, the responsiveness is wonderful.
He must have run 4 or 5, miles to get that answer over here.
My usual monthly reminder of PFLAG, Parents, Friends, and Family of Gays, Lesbians, Bisexual, and Transgendered Persons, 10-inch long title, meeting third Sunday of the month. This month, the 21st, it will be at 2:30 at the Cathedral City Library in the community room. And the guest speaker this month will be George Zander, who is the president of the Desert Stonewall Democrats. While PFLAG, of course, is a nonpartisan, doesn't support any candidates or issues, George will be talking about issues generally and upcoming elections. And PFLAG, as most of us and many of our other organizations, are always supportive of people getting out and registering to vote. There will be voter registration cards there, and we will be happy at PFLAG to mail them for you. But the idea is for all of us to get registered to vote and then get out and vote. And I just have one other comment, which is an experience I had driving over here this afternoon. I have not seen this particular vehicle on the road before, but I happened to be at 2 stoplights behind it. There was a pickup truck with a covered bed on the back, and the back of it had all sorts of biblical quotes and sayings, and the license plate for you out there who have this vehicle was "Ask God." And so the fender, the bumper, I should say, actually had a sentence like, "The living ask God, not man," on the other side of it. And I thought, well, I was kind of, reading pieces of it and trying to be safe in traffic as well. And I thought, well, this was sort of an interesting concept in getting your message out. The thing that sort of struck me was among the list of sins and sinners, where there was shown lies, liars, sodomists, adulterers, et cetera, among the group listed on the back of this truck was clergy. And I thought, I've always understood clergy to be, part of religious community and people who generally are more respected and looked to for guidance and insight and on the Bible and on good living, etc. And it just sort of struck me as odd that with this person's full message on the back of the truck to have clergy included in the group of what obviously are the bad people in the world. And I wonder, has anybody else seen this truck? Anybody have any insight for me on why clergy might be included there? Or it just was the luck of the draw for me to experience it on the way here.
The question is, why are you the only person that's seen the truck?
I'll think about that, Bill. And that's all I've got. Thank you.
In Illinois, we had trucks that had God on it, but was for guaranteed overnight delivery. So I think it's a little different.
I don't think that was the truck.
Thank you, Commissioner Zelnus. Any other commissioners have comments today? No comments. Okay. Staff reports. Lee?
Just wanted to let you know that we put together binders for you this year. Includes the Hate Crimes Task Force, your schedule of meetings and forums, contact list, and the chapter in the municipal code pertaining to the Human Rights Commission. If you wanted to add your rules and procedures, I think it would bring it up pretty much up to date as to information that we have in the office for you, and I will try to remember to 3-hole punch your agendas and minutes so you can add those as the year goes along. If there's anything else you'd like to have in the notebook, we can make copies, but Judy and Steve from the print shop put those together. And also a reminder of the Boards and Commission orientation session that is set for Tuesday, September 16th at 6 p.m. in the council chamber. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Lee, for getting these binders for us this year. It's appreciated. And I just want to remind you, before we go to the agenda, that now that we're not having the executive meetings, I'd emailed everybody, but that's why our agenda is so short, because nobody came back with any ideas to put on the agenda. It's our job, all our job from now on. Our next meeting is on the 13th. Say at least 5 days before that or a week before that, email me something you want on the agenda so we can bring it up at the meeting. All right, that's why the agenda is short. I didn't hear from anybody, so we just sort of made a general shake out the dust, cobwebs agenda for today, since it's our first meeting. So we'll go to the agenda, and the first topic is upcoming forum topics. And we know that on October the 9th, we're doing student rights. November the 10th, which is not a forum, though, we're going to discuss Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and I am open to any suggestions. Our next forum is scheduled for January 22nd. So we have a while to think, but if somebody wants to throw out ideas, it would be a good time to discuss them.
Bill, we had talked, it must have been at our last official meeting, of having Father Joe Carroll or someone else from the organization come to the October 13th meeting, which is our Monday meeting. And while, as I say, I've just gotten back from being away, I have not reconnected to get that put together, but that's on my list of to-dos for a speaker, not a forum, but a speaker for the business meeting on October 13th.
Right, and I'm glad you told me. That way, if Father Joe Carroll does want to come, we'll shorten the agenda. If I get a zillion emails, we'll just shorten it and put it on the next meeting, but so we can give him a lot of time.
Yeah, I will let you know.
That's great, because that's
when that
topical.
gets
Good.
together.
Bill, I would appreciate that. I don't know that much about what's happening with Father Joe's facility, and if they're thinking of bringing something to Palm Springs, I would love more information on how that Martha's Village is working out and how long it's been in existence. I think it'd be very helpful.
Sure, yeah, and I'm sure he'd be happy, whether it is he himself or somebody else from the organization, to really give us a full picture as well as a question and answer opportunity. So collect your questions and we'll get them resolved.
Great, thank you, Sly, that's great. Anybody else have topics or some other things we should be discussing? Okay, what?
Somebody must have put a quarter in me this afternoon. I don't know what the. But we had talked, and I know last season Joe was frustrated in trying to get representatives to come and talk about the American Patriots Act. And while we did have an excellent forum, we didn't get some of the key legislative people or their representatives to speak to that. And I know there is continuing effort for an updated version of that. And I just, as a topic for a forum, I'm not necessarily volunteering to find the representatives that Joe worked so hard last year to get. But I would like to kind of keep that in our minds as a topic of overall interest that I
Okay,
would be
good,
happy to
yeah.
work with Joe or others to get something going on.
Yeah. And I believe, not to interrupt, that John Ashcroft is touring the country now with Patriots Act 2. Maybe we can get him to stop, you know.
And visit our
And-
resort
well,
community.
And maybe explain it to us, because we don't have the explanation for the first one, which was a very good forum. But that's a good idea, Sly, thank you. Okay, I can move on to possible public speakers at business meetings. Floor is open for ideas. I notice Father Joe Carroll is 1, AMVETS is 2. And I guess we need some time to think what direction we want to go to. That's our agenda.
Our regular meeting, business meeting speakers is something that I think we may want to leave some flexibility for, as opposed to scheduling definitively way out in advance, just because so often there are timely things that come up that we want to bring somebody in for that we may not even anticipate at this point. But similarly, if we're all kind of keeping ourselves open to things we run into or people we meet who might, be able to enlighten us and our thousands of viewers out there.
Yeah, we have to keep it topical. That's
Of course.
Yeah. Okay. No, but it should be newsworthy and topical.
Bill, I have a topic. I haven't refined it to a specific speaker or anything, but it's something that in the last few months a lot of defense attorneys have been discussing, and that's the erosion of our constitutional rights. And we're seeing it very much so in the courts now, and after 9/11, the restrictions that are being, imposed upon us. And I don't know who would be appropriate to come and speak on that kind of a subject, but it's something that I'd like to look into further. Maybe get back to you on that.
And that has to do with the Patriots Act. I mean, it's a whole, take the ball and run with it. We'd love to have that done. We did it last year, but now we're, Congress is first reading the first act, so I think we should be on the ball for the second. We did learn they didn't read it. I mean, we did see what it looked like. Anybody else have anything today? It's okay, because this is just like an after summer break, shake it up and get ready to go again. Well, does anyone want to call for an adjournment?
I move that we adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
I second.
All those in favor? Aye. Meeting's adjourned. And our next meeting is October the 13th. Thank you very much. Good night. Good afternoon.